Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Atomic Salt Live Show. This is the show we're going to discuss everything in the tabletop hobby world. I am Wild Chevy, and as always, I'm joined by my buddy Casey. Casey, how are you this week?
I am just peachy. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's been a good week.
You know, it has been a pretty good week.
What have you done this week in the tabletop hobby world?
So, I finished up a couple of remotes that I was doing for my Infinity stuff. Uh, I don't have them here because honestly, there's nothing very fancy to ooh and ah over. It was pretty much just a tabletop standard.
Hey, I mean, that's what it takes to get on the table. It's a lot better than looking silver like this guy here.
You know, speaking of silver, I did try one interesting thing, and now that you have all of these, you can give it a shot too. Is GW has their new technical paints, right? You know, for like their gemstone effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking about it. I was like, you know, that really just seems like what the ghost tints kind of do. So for like some of the lenses over the eyes, I took basically just silver, painted the lenses silver, and then put over the top of it like a magenta color.
Okay.
Now, it goes on a little thinner than I think the GW Technicals go. So I did like 2 coats of it. However, once you put those on there, it gives it a really cool kind of effect.
Nice.
Like you've got kind of like a glossy lens sort of thing on top. So if you ever have a little time, I recommend playing around with it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then I'm working on a bit of terrain. It's just all in pieces right now. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to get a rattle can and prime it all, or if I want to use Stynel Res. And I think I just want to use a rattle can, because the Stynel Res is pretty nice, and I don't want to burn through all of that.
Yeah, especially or it's MDF, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've tried that before, and I thought I was just gonna burn up my compressor,
Mm.
just because it just soaks up so much. But I did find um, it's not the filler primer because I use this uh, for 3D sculpts because
Mm-hmm.
it's a thicker primer. But the I don't have the bottle here. Okay, it's the Paint Plus primer mix.
Yeah, and that's what I've used on some of my other MDF, and it works well.
Yeah, and I find that it does a really good job because it just soaks up into it and gives you a nice color.
Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll go out and pick up a new can of that and just hit those parts up. Because the other nice thing is, if I've found, don't go too heavy on it, otherwise it'll expand the wood out.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you just the right amount. So, and generally the cheap stuff works as well as the fancy $100 cans.
Yeah, you're not out to go tagging homes or anything like that. So
Yeah, it feels so weird. Like I go to a hardware store and I get paint. They're like, "So what are you painting up?" Uh,
terrain walls.
yeah, walls. Oh yeah, okay. Well, you're gonna want to put like a sealer, like all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this is what I need.
So have you done any gaming? I know your Guild Ball is over for you. So
Yeah, guild balls all over. So didn't do any gaming per se, but what we did do is a couple nights ago had you and Austin over to our place, and we played some more of the Infinity RPG.
how did you feel about being a DM?
You know, I find it fun and enjoyable. I wouldn't mind being on the other side of the table. at some point. Said, like it's kind of fun knowing the story that I'm anticipating, and then watching it go like crazy off the rails in a different direction. As literally like, because 3 or 4 times throughout the game, I was like, I was not expecting that. All right, let's go from there. So, but we could talk about that more in a few minutes. What have you done this week in hobby?
I'll see. I played a little bit. I busted out. I'm trying Assassin Baram with the new season coming up. So I busted out those guys. Uh, I I brought a list that when I built it, I was like, no, what? This is just a silly list. Let's just this won't do much. Everybody I showed it to, they're like, oh, this list is very impressive. And it's a 5-man link team of Moebs and 3 impersonators and some mutts just for smoke. And yeah, it's a very aggressive list, and I need to learn how to play it.
Yeah, so Moe's, in my opinion, are the best linkable units in the game. So anytime you have a big link of those guys, I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, they've got almost every option you could think of for members.
Yeah, and if there's a downside to Moeves, it's the fact that they're not cheap. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap. However, with the mutts, on the other hand, you're kind of making up for that. Again, we've talked about before, mutts are amazing. But they're a good cheap order, is a good cheap source of smoke too. So they kind of balance out having all the Moebs there.
Yeah. And Moebs are AVA 6. So if you drop a person, it's like, all right, no worries. I'll just grab this other guy and bring him to the squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a great toolbox unit because, like you said, they can do practically anything and everything. So, but what about this guy you're working on?
Yeah, my Azrael. He's getting better. I finally got his arm attached, so he's getting closer.
Fancy.
Yeah, he looks like a me and Mama Jamba.
So I've only faced one of those guys once in a game, and he was like an unholy nightmare. He basically just like marched right up the middle of the board, sucked up every ARO that I threw at him, and just murdered half of my list.
Yeah, he seems like he could do that too. I mean, the weapon has got a nice range to it. Although the latest update for him, he lost his X visor, which is a little sad.
Yeah, I'm not too sad about that.
But he's a little cheaper with the latest edition, and yeah. But what I'm excited for is the Assassin Ayar.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to see a photo of that this weekend, because this weekend was Interplanetary at Corvus Belli.
Yeah, we want to talk about that some?
Yeah. So they had, of course, the Bostria panel that showed off pretty much a little bit the same stuff as Gen Con, but a few more things.
Yeah, it was mostly the same. I think all we really saw was it the new Acontecimiento was new, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and at the same time, there wasn't a whole lot new there. Like it looks nice, but there's nothing.
Some new poses.
Yeah, the knight's a real beefy looking guy there. But what else did we see? We saw a new Wu Ming in kind of a weird, funky breakdance pose. I want to say there's something else. I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, I mean, it was just touch and go stuff. It wasn't all.
Nothing like overly mind blowing. And I don't think we ever heard what Alive is about.
No, that is still a mystery.
Although we did get one piece of information on that, though, whereas, evidently a lot of people have been asking Carlos about it. And he said, it's not my surprise to spoil, which I think actually tells us quite a bit. Because when you think about like the sort of things that Carlos does tend to announce, one of those. So a lot of people talk about ITS 2017, and he's introduced the 2015, 2016 packages, and so maybe it's not that. I'm leaning more and more towards like the manga.
Yeah, because just recently we saw, because at Gen Con they had a photo with 3 silhouettes, and the first silhouette that they showed was on Heraldez, his book, and the miniature for that, and then they showed the ITS pack for 2017, which has Joe Scarface, and we don't know what the third one is yet. It's the manga, but they haven't announced it yet.
And that's so we think it's Joe Scarface. They say it is, but we can't really tell from the pictures.
Yeah, a lot of pictures from this weekend were like really blurry. But it looks cool. I mean, it's interesting. It's like the year of Hawk Islam. Because every it seems like every box has something for Hawk Islam.
Yeah, and a lot of the older Hawk Islam stuff is being redone, but like I said, I've said it before. I think Hawk Islam just has kind of a special place in Corvus Billy's heart. So every year really is the year of Hawk Islam for those guys.
That's the faction I enjoy.
And I don't blame you.
But I'm an old hat player, though.
I was playing Hawk Islam before it was cool.
Yeah, we got to see the heavy infantry unit for assassins, the IR. We got to see.
Yeah, holy cow, he looks good.
His profile is just amazing too.
Yeah, that's one where he's got like a smoke grenade launcher.
He's
like everything in them, right?
He's got hollow projector, I believe.
No, I don't.
Yep. All right, so I'll share this. Assassin IR. Equipment, hollow projector level 2. Special skills, free agent. Special op, religious. He's got surprise shot level 2 with 2 of his profiles. So that's rifle and emitter with DEP, or the shock marksman rifle. And then the other profile is a sniper rifle. and then just pack in 2 viral pistols.
Because why not?
Yeah. I mean, just looking at like the range, I mean, this guy is pretty beefy. I would love to run the shock marksman's rifle because you got a nice 8 to 24-inch range with that. And then if somebody gets in closer, you're just like, all right, I'm just going to shoot with my pistols.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one to run, I think. Availability 2, I'm not sure you'd ever take 2, but
You take 2 and have 3, or you have 6 hollow echoes on the table, just like, hey, how's it going?
that's just abusive, I think. But yeah, Hakkasan was getting a lot of really cool heavy infantry guys.
Yeah,
So,
because we saw the other photo was the Alpha Seed, right?
yeah, that's the cool, scary one.
Let me see if I can find that for the weekend. There's a lot of photos from the weekend. And if you guys want to find them, go to MyCast, their Facebook page.
Yep, Tom went out to Spain and has been shooting pictures and asking questions. And I haven't heard how well he's been doing on the actual tournament front, though. Have you?
No, it's a 6-man, or no, 100 people tournament.
Yeah, so, I didn't think they're actually going to get it, but there's quite a few people there.
So here's the photo. These are what we've seen so far for the coming year. There's Angel Heraldez book 2, The Imperial Agent Crane, and then Joe Scarface Turner. He looks a little bit skinny in that photo compared to what you see in the fluff.
Well, in the fluff, he's a drug addict, man.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I think that lifestyle is just catching up with him.
And the manga, yeah, we still don't know who that. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, and that looks like Soldier 76 to me. So.
Yeah, it kind of does. Someone was noticing that it looked a little bit like one of the old ones, Scorpio or Scorpion.
Mm.
He was a character that he was another authorized bounty hunter that they came out with a few years back, but I don't think they ever really did much with him. So could be him. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Let's show off this Lux Lumbra. So the new company coming out. Well, I guess the offshoot company from Corvus Belli. It's got a lot of the people from Corvus Belli in it. But yes, this is the first of the miniatures that they're showing off from Lux Lumbra. They're going to do 40 mil bust.
Yeah, and I mean it's pretty. I'm thinking that's a looks like an iguana pilot.
No, it's the big heavy in Operation Ice Storm.
Oh,
I can't think of its name.
Right, I know which one you're talking about, but she's got the little plate right there in the front, which looks like the iguana pilot has.
Oh.
I know which one you're talking about.
Mobile Brigada.
Yeah, and that was kind of my first thought, and maybe it is, but I don't know. There's just a few things that
No, that's what they said. She's the mobile brigada
Oh, okay.
with the Tau headpiece.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange, but oh well. I'm not really a bust painter, so that's not my thing.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people, folks recently trying to get into bust work, and from what I've heard from folks, it's because I mean, working on these little things, doing all these little fine detail work and all that, but then when you expand it, it gives you a lot more freedom.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand the draw to it. I'm just saying, I'm not really interested in doing them.
Yeah, and it's not a play piece, and I think that's what that's more like a painter thing. It's let's just do something that's really big and cool. But if you have, what are you going to do with it later? You're just going to stick it on your shelf.
Right. Yeah,
So
and I got no problem with that. There are some models that I paint just because I like to paint them, but I do like to have, something that I can use at the end of the day.
mhm. And so here we have the heavy assault Alpha Seed, the heavy rocket launcher sculpt.
Yeah, that bad boy is just amazing.
When being in a full suit of armor is not badass enough, let's just walk in with a SMG and a heavy rocket launcher.
Yeah, I love how it's a full size rifle that he's just one handing.
Yep, that guy. That'll be interesting to see on the table.
Well, like I said, I've already seen what one piece of Hawk Islam heavy infantry can do, so I'm not really looking forward to another.
And yes, here's the one that I can't wait to see: the Assassin Ayar.
Yeah, he'll be fun.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's heavy infantry, so he does have to be wary of hackers. But Hollow Echo 2 and just what's interesting is the Assassin Baram, very very different play style, and having this big guy on the table, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think you're going to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait to see a sculpt and then get one to paint.
So, okay. While we're still on the topic of Affinity, do we want to talk about the RPG a little bit?
Yeah, let's get into that. So, they've been releasing the book piecemeal, and both Casey and I are backers, so we've been looking into the material that they've sent out, and Casey started us off on the pre-made campaign, and then we finally finished it off.
Yeah, so we were playing through the module called, I don't think there's an actual name to it. It was just, I was mentally calling it Murder on the Circular, in which we saw a famous duelist die from what at first looked like violent causes, but then it turned out to be due to an illegal drug that he was taking. And it kind of went from there. Do you want to talk about kind of the way you guys played it, or what you saw happen in it? And I'll kind of fill in here or there.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give props to Casey. This is his first time being a DM, and he did a real good job. Our three bunch of characters, very unique in our play style and how we handle everything.
How would you have described your character?
My character, I would say he's kind of like a rogue class Yeah, I mean, if going fantasy wise, he just he does, he does his own thing. Smart when it comes to um, technical stuff, explosives. He's got a he can shoot like no other. But when it comes to other things, like he's got a reroll for charisma stuff. But his charisma is so low that he's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" and gets shut down.
Yeah, I know. Like he kind of feels like a rogue, and maybe that's kind of the design. He really felt like more of a generalist, more than anybody else.
Yeah, his stat line's very interesting. It was all pre-generated using the web app that Modifius has, and yeah, he's just like a he's a tech. I mean, he's a technician. He's got media experience, and he's a now a soldier. So he's got a lot of past issues that just have life screwed him over, and now he's just trying to work his way to make a living.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. Like I like that your guy more than anything just has a lot of different options available to him. So a lot of times I felt like you were kind of the straight man in things, whereas Natalie was very much a crazy berserker type character, and Austin was the devil may care. Yeah, sure, let's do something weird and crazy and find out what happens.
Yeah, your wife is. Yeah, I was like, okay, let's try to do this on. Um, let's do this path a little bit, so we can like get survivors. Nope, your wife's like, oh, let's kill them all.
Yeah, she's like, I want to cut off his head. Oh, well, I guess you can do that.
Oh yeah, when your character's hyper aggressive.
She role played it well.
Yep.
So anyway, so that was kind of the ragtag group that we had going on here. What were you guys up to?
Hmm?
What was your guys' mission?
Uh, we
Or how did you approach this, I guess?
yeah, it wasn't like a real mission. It was just like an emergency call, and like we all show up and like, hey, uh, you guys are the only operatives on this station. We need you to we need you to handle this. Keep it all hush hush. And we're like, all right. Who are all these people?
Yeah, the idea was not to try and give you guys a traditional thing and just kind of like throw you in the mix and allow you guys to meet each other and work with each other a little more naturally. Maybe that's not quite the way it was because the way to do it, because there was a little bit of awkwardness there, but I think you guys more or less decided to play together.
I'm just glad your wife didn't try killing us the first time she met us.
I'm slightly surprised that she didn't, based on the way that's how she approached everything else. Um, so yeah, what were some of the characters or kind of some of the notable things that you came across there?
Well, the system is very interesting and unique. Uh, Using two d20s for skill checks took some time to get used to. Having to roll low because like if you're playing D&D or Pathfinder, you're like, all right, I want to roll high. You're like, no, you need to roll low. Oh, okay, well, I'll have to get my different weighted dice. But it was the system. Yeah, the system in general played out pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little awkward at first. from a DM perspective, like trying to communicate to you guys like how difficult something was. But after a while, I think we kind of got into the flow of that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, essentially, yeah, you guys, you, you know, the first session was mostly talking around, gathering information, and you guys spent more time talking to certain folks than I I would have expected. And there was other times where you just kind of breezed through other stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. One of the people, um, one of the things I felt is everybody kept pointing you towards one very specific person that you needed to go and talk to, and this, in my mind, this was the person who was really going to try and who was going to pull everything together for you guys. But you skipped that person and just went directly to the end.
Well, I mean, we were trying to skip them, but it was like, oh, okay, the time of the day is off. We can't find this person this time of the day. We're like, all right, well, uh, let's go this other place, and like, oh, we'll come around to her later, and oh, turns out we're like, oh, we found the fast pass.
Yeah, and you guys totally like. I think you tried to sneak in there initially, and you totally flubbed it. And then I said, "Fine, screw it. We're going in guns blazing."
Yeah, that's where it became real interesting, the combat system.
Yeah. So, what did you think about that?
Like the when we first started into it, I'm like, okay, well, I was looking at my character. I'm like, all right, this doesn't seem bad. I'm like, seems like an average weapon. And I get into it. I'm like, oh, my character when he shoots a weapon, um, the weapon he had gave him 8 damage dice to roll.
Which was bananas.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Because you're shooting a combi rifle, which an Infinity is a really basic generic weapon, but you were doing all sorts of horrible things to people with that gun.
yeah, it was. I was raining chaos.
But it was fun. Um, yeah, I was really worried about like if I had too many bad guys in there or not enough bad guys. And I think it turned out that there wasn't quite enough. You guys weren't really being challenged all that much. You were also creative with your combat.
Yeah, and I mean, Sans miniatures. Yeah, we just had to go off of that imagination. So
And I kind of like it that way. Like if you have miniatures there, it just turns into another miniatures game in my mind. So but overall, so you guys essentially, and I'll pull back the curtain here. The module itself in the beginning was going to be kind of a one shot. You were going to find out that essentially there was just kind of a glitch and it was a bad batch of drugs that had gone out. But early on, you guys started looking at everything and really came up with a much better idea. It was, hey, this might be, I think we've come across a conspiracy here, and we've discovered, like there's all these really sinister applications to this, and it was kind of fun. And this is the part about being the GM that I liked was I was just going to sit back and kind of listen to what you guys were coming up with. And as you were talking about this, I started thinking, that is a lot more interesting and a lot cooler, I think, than what the module initially had. So, and instead of being a one shot, we could just kind of use this as an intro to a much larger story arc.
Mm-hmm.
So, But yeah, so I don't know a lot, but when the players come up with a good idea, you roll with it.
Uh, we had one instance where we opened up the third door and happened to be the boss room, and we're like, oh crap! And I was like, no, what? We have access to the ship systems. Let's just increase the gravity in the room. And Casey's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you flattened everybody. You got all sorts of bonuses for that first round, and oh, and then Austin decides he's like, because we were like in a drug lab, he's like, I'm going to shoot all the tanks full of drugs. I was like, okay, let's figure out something for this. So we were kind of making up rules left and right on how to make that work out. But
And I think that's where it becomes the interesting thing of RPGs. It's like, all right, all that stuff on the fly.
yeah, because I mean, like when you're playing a video game or like even a miniatures game with like set rules, you're kind of limited to those rules. You can't go beyond what they've set. Whereas in the RPG, we're able just to say, you know what, that's a really cool idea. Let's make this work.
And yeah, I mean, Casey and I have both, I've watched Critical Role a lot. Casey listens to some podcasts and all. Yeah, and it's like one of those things, like, okay, um, never say no. Let's just roll with it and see how it goes. Let the dice gods see where everything lays.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think my wife Natalie, she had a lot of fun with it, but it's not something she wants to keep on doing. So we'll try and come to some sort of satisfactory conclusion here in maybe two, maybe three more sessions. So, but we'll see. It might have to turn into three. I'm not sure.
So, all right, would you want to be a player or would you want to still be DM?
You know, uh, like I said, being a DM is a lot of fun, but I would like to see it kind of from the other side as well. I would love to see what kind of ideas you guys come up with. You know, we've got you guys right now is kind of like an FBI type squad, or some James Bond types, where you kind of get to go wherever. And so I think it'd be really interesting to, maybe be like soldiers on Paradiso, um, like a group of nomad hackers or something like that, like infiltrating a base, like doing like a sneaky stealth sort of thing. I think that there's a lot of really cool stories that can be told there.
Like special ops stuff?
Mm-hmm. So, and to be fair, I mean, we can do those. We can completely do those if you and Austin, and if we ever pick up a third person, maybe get Mike back into it. Where they might be interested in that. Where, I mean, there's room. We could always go there. I have long-term plans
Mm-hmm.
where this would go after this arc is done. And I won't tell you any of that, but
Killing my character in horrible, horrible ways.
no, like that's the things I really don't want to kill your characters. Like that's kind of the opposite of what I want to do. Like if you kill the characters and it feels like all the work that you've done up to there is kind of undone. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we're going to start opening things up to you guys a little bit. And like I said, if you or Austin would like to, try a hand at it, I'm more than happy to let you.
Yeah. Because I do like this, like, a Bureau Noir thing where it's like a drop in, drop out situation where your character doesn't have to be, or it's just like a squad, a squad of people just assembled because they have the skills.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of cool that you have like the official backing, almost like a license to kill type thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I'm like, oh, we're killing a lot of people. Do we need to ask permission to do this?
As Arnold said, yes, but they were all bad. So, um, we'll hand wave some of that away because it's not like you just like walked into a restaurant and like gunned down people eating lunch or something. If that
Well,
was the case, it'd be a different story. But whereas this was like
well, well we had to
drug runners shooting guns at you
we had to restrain your wife from doing that.
once or twice. Yes, she gets violent. So, and so I mean that was kind of like the other thing that I was thinking about is you guys are on a circular, which is really just a small city in space. There's and it's hopping around to different planets all the time. Um, I picked the C6 circular in particular because it makes a lot of stops. It has kind of a wide variety of places. But it's also like a port town, right? Where there's people coming in and leaving, and so I was like, if you guys wanted to, and I'll give you guys the option here is, you can keep chasing this storyline, which will take you off the circular, or if you wanted to turn into uh, kind of like just freelance workers, on the circular, you could do that too. And we could, I think there's a lot of stories to tell just based on the circular. Become almost like the go-to special operations / detectives on board. But that stuff would turn into slightly more episodic, but it would allow you guys to keep like some persistent characters around. Like
Somebody throw your badge at. I'm tired of you giving me all these rules.
sure, like you would, Father Antonio you'd start seeing more of him, or um, certain locations, or Naomi Da Silva might start playing a larger role in different things, or she might be your underworld contact, and
Oh, nothing like a recurring character that you just can't kill.
well, you could kill both of them.
No, I mean like the progressing boss. It's like every time you like, oh, he got the upper hand. Oh, he gets away.
You know, um,
There,
yeah,
there's tropes
I
for
would,
a reason.
yeah. So, but I didn't know what. I'm not really sure which direction you guys want to go. If you want to stay on the circular, or if you want to, start tripping around the galaxy, so to speak. But I'm cool with doing either.
my, my character is up for anything as long as the shady past doesn't catch up to him.
Hmm.
Dun dun dun.
But what if he has to confront it?
Oh no. Character progression. Haha.
Well, it would also give you guys a little bit more opportunity to, to role play your characters. So,
It gives you opportunities to do more female voices.
doing a female voice is not hard. I have like one female voice. So, we'll see. Whatever direction you guys want to go, we'll do some cool stuff.
I look forward to it.
So, well, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? It's kind of a short evening, but
I'm trying to.
my cold medicine is wearing off.
Uh, uh, oh, it's a little different, but have you seen this thing yet? Uh, Let me pull it up. the Mastodon from Forge World.
300 pounds of resin.
Yeah, this thing is huge. Skill you can't. Well, skill wise, I mean, there's 2 Space Marines at the top there. They said this thing has a capacity to hold 40 Space Marines, or 40 Space Marines and up to 2 Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, because the inside of it is actually hollow. I think you can actually fit all of them in there.
Yeah, because there's door front and back.
Yeah, I've paid attention to this thing for a while, and I love it. The idea is it just has all these melta guns in the front and just blows a hole in a wall, and then it just rolls up to it, opens up the doors, and forms like a little assault tunnel for people to run in.
Yeah, it's like their the Cassius assault ram, the space version. This is the ground version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this.
So you got this, right? You purchased this?
Oh, I wish. I was like, I was looking at him like, I've been trying to get out of 40K. I mean, 30. I've got some 30K stuff. Like, if I get this, that's 700 points. But that could be my delivery system for my Grey Knights.
Yes. Load that sucker up with like 10 paladins, and away you go.
Yeah, 10 paladins and a dreadnought. It just uh, I want to see this thing in person though, because like Forge World's photo scale is different than real life.
There's pictures of it out and around where you can actually see like a tactical marine standing next to it. And I mean, he only goes like halfway up the tread.
Yeah, my buddy says it's about 2.5 times larger than a Land Raider.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Recently I picked up the Legion Glaive, and yeah, I've yet to touch that thing yet because I'm like, this thing is huge. The turret itself is about the size of a CD.
Oh, that's like the big tank with like the round top to it, right?
Yeah, it's the bigger version of the um, uh, oh yeah, the other tank I always bring.
The Sakaran.
Yes, so a larger version of Sakaran. Yeah. Seeing that, I'm like, oh man, this thing is impressive.
Yeah, I think you need to get that.
300 pounds though. That's a lot of money.
It's only like $250.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see at LVO if at what position I'm at, and if I could just get one ordered.
Mm-hmm. You should go for it. I don't think your life will really be complete until you have one.
Yeah. But that's it for me tonight. Nothing else, Casey?
No, that's it. Yeah, it feels like I've done a bunch of stuff, but there's not a lot to say.
Oh. All right, folks, let us know. Let us know what you've been doing this week. Put it in the comments below. If you're interested in Infinity RPG, we could talk about that in the comments. Or if you saw some other stuff from Interplanetary, or if you know what Alive is from Infinity, let's start a conversation. Like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more. We'll be back next week. Casey, anything else?
No, just as always, if there's ever anything you want us to take a look at or you'd like us to talk about, just shoot us an email at theatomicsalt@gmail.com. This has been The Atomic Salt, and my GM skills have blown your mind.
Good night, folks.